Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head to Edinburgh and revisit Stewart Brewing, and we've got a really good beer from these guys today. A lot of you have watched my Stewart reviews before. I've recommended that I take a look at this one. So we're going to go and have a taste of First World Problems, which is a 6.2% Belgian Style IPA. This one's very highly rated on Rate Beer, 95 overall and 99 within the style, so it should be a pretty damn good beer. And I know from my own experience that Stewart Brewing always produce some really damn good IPAs, so I'm really looking forward to trying this one actually. So I hope you guys that have recommended this beer enjoy the review, and I'm certainly looking forward to trying it. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other Stewart reviews I've done before. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel uses a geography based tagging system, so you can search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever you're interested in. There are also the playlists of the beers from different countries. Do check out the whiskey and sake reviews as well, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review on the channel. Always interesting to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and your support is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Stewart Brewing. So Stewart Brewing was founded by Steve Stewart and his wife Jo, and Steve is actually a graduate of Heriot-Watt University in Edinburgh, who do of course have their brewing programme, and he'd worked for several breweries including Base Brewery in Ireland and also in Birmingham, and he'd worked for the Harpoon Brewery over in Boston, Massachusetts for a while as well. But while working in Birmingham in 1998, Steve actually built his first microbrewery with the help of his father-in-law, who owned a steel fabrication company. And Steve basically wanted to return to Scotland, and so he left his job with Base in Birmingham and moved back to Edinburgh in 2002, and he started putting things in place to form the microbrewery, and the production began officially in January of 2004. And Steve had actually developed many of these trial brews using his mini microbrewery that he'd built with his father-in-law, so they had a lot of recipes in place before the company even really got going actually. But Steve worked hard to actually secure a bigger production facility, and eventually he settled on a location in the Bilston Glen Industrial Estate on the south side of Edinburgh. I think it's the Lone Head area. But while this site was being completed, Steve actually brewed his beers at Strathaven Brewery, and the first batch was produced there in late 2004. So since foundation, the brewery's proved to be very, very successful, and they've produced a number of special and kind of seasonal beers as well as their core range that they have, and further expansion of the brewery is also planned in the relatively near future. As I said, this brewery are well known to produce some really lovely pale ales and IPAs and things like that. You saw me review the Capai a wee while ago, which was their New Zealand style IPA, and that was lovely, and I've heard that this beer is even better. But the beers you're going to get from these guys are always pretty good. Just to list a few of the different beers you can get from these guys, there's the Edinburgh Gold, the Edinburgh Number 3, the Pentland IPA, Copper's Cascade. They also have the 80 shilling as well. They've also got the Embra, the Holyrood Pale Ale, they've got the Capai and a few other ones in that range too, and then they have this guy, the First World Problem. So yeah, they've got quite a few different beers. You can go on the website and check out all the different things here, but this one is quite interesting. This one was actually, the recipe for this beer was actually produced by James Haddocker, who won the Southern's home brewing competition, which was sponsored by Stewart, and so it became a kind of commercial Stewart brew, if you like. So really cool actually. It's got a malt base of oat malt, and they've added some crystal rye to it, and it's got 6 different hops as well. They're saying it's New World hops, but they didn't say exactly what ones are in this. But it says on the side here, Belgian IPA, a blend of New World hops and fruity phenolic yeast esters on the nose, an assertive bitterness as well as copious amounts of flavour and hop aroma. From the capital city of Scotland, a city steeped in brewing history, Stewart Brewing are producers and pioneers of innovative and award-winning craft beers. So ABV 6.2%, IBUs 80. So yeah, we should have a really nice beer on our hands here. Let me just bring up the camera and I'll let you have a quick look at the artwork before we open it up. There we are. So there you can see it's got this kind of comic strip style artwork on it. It's really nicely done, and it was the article that was in the blog on this one. This beer was introduced in 2013 actually. When I looked at it, it was sometime in summer 2013, and they were talking about things like really funny first world problems that we have, you know, like it says on the side here, my laptop is dying but the charger is in the other room, stuff like that. So it's meant to just kind of be a bit of fun the situations we find ourselves in today. There you can see the usual Stewart Brewing bottle cap on this one, but very nicely presented, and it's quite cool that they've actually taken a sort of home brewer's recipe and put it into commercial production when it's not one of their own. So that's really cool actually. But let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. So as you can see, a nice smoky opening on this one, and I tell you something, you can smell some of these nice bready Belgian yeasty esters coming out of this one. This was actually another beer that I picked up in Aldi's. Aldi in Scotland are getting really good for their craft beers, their beer festivals and things. They've always got stuff from different places, so if you do find yourself in Scotland, then you can go into Aldi's and get some of the good local craft beers. So as you can see, this beer is poured a really nice bright orangey amber. I'll just bring up the light and let you see the colour of this beer. There you are. So it's a nice deep orangey amber colour, this one. It's quite murky actually. Really dark orangey amber colour there. There's a finger and a half of a frothy, kind of creamy coloured head. It does have a little element of beiginess to it, but it's a nice kind of creamy coloured one. You can smell some of these juicy fruits coming off this beer just without even paying too much attention to the aroma. You can just smell them as you're moving around. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, but mainly it's really small bubbles of carbonation that are heading up towards the bottom of that head there. It really is very, very nice looking, this beer. If I put my fingers behind it, you can see there is a degree of transparency, but the beer is rather opaque. So yeah, let's have a closer look at the aroma of this one then and see how we get on. Yeah. So as you'd expect, you've got a really nice Belgian yeasty character, this one. You know, we've got the big, doughy, bready, yeasty characters coming out of this beer. Yeah, really lovely smelling beer, this. You can smell some of these tropical fruits on top of it as well. I'm getting a little bit of the kind of grainy character coming out too. It's really nicely done. And you can smell some of the oats in this beer, and you can smell some of that rye character. It definitely has a kind of cereal underlying to that Belgian yeastiness that's coming out of this beer. It's got a bit of clove spice as well. It smells lovely. And then you can of course get these nice American hops. So I'm getting a little bit of grapefruit in this one, but it's quite a citrusy orange for me that's coming out too. I do wonder if there's some Amarillo hop in there, but there's a bit of a sort of grapefruit note. But I'm also getting some of these kind of things that you would expect from the Citra. You know, there's a little bit. I can pick up a wee bit of passion fruit as well, so I do wonder if Simcoe's in here. It didn't say on the website exactly what hops are in there, but as I say, there's orangey citrus, which makes me think Amarillo. There's a bit of grapefruit in there too. I can definitely pick up a little bit of the grapefruit, but that's a bit mild in comparison to the orange. There's a bit of passion fruit in there, which makes me think Simcoe. And some of the other stuff, the lighter kind of fruity esters that are coming out of this one, makes me think Citra as well. So I'm getting a little bit of kind of passion fruit, maybe a wee bit of mango or something as well. And there's some of these kind of like almost lychees or watermelon-y things going on as well. There's definitely these kind of lighter tropical notes that you would expect from the Citra hop. Maybe a bit of peach and apricot coming out as well. But it's got a lovely fruity aroma, and that's exactly what you'd expect from Stewart Brewing. They love these kind of really fruity, kind of hoppy IPAs. That's what this brewery really are known for in Scotland. I don't think I've actually tried a darker beer from them yet. They really do focus on the kind of golden ales, pale ales and IPAs, and they do it very well. But this one smells absolutely lovely. Take a bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this beer before you get stuck into it. But we're going to give this a try now. So this is the First World Problems, a Belgian Style IPA, very highly rated, from Stewart Brewing Company in Loanhead in Edinburgh. Let's get stuck into these guys. Or Bilston Glen, I should say, not Loanhead. Slàinte. That's a cracker. That's an absolute belter of a beer. That's really... It really is very, very good. And on Rate Beer, this one's rated in the top 50 kind of Belgian style IPAs, and I can see why. This is a really, really nicely done beer. That's lovely. It's really well balanced. I mean, the hops come in, and I always find this with Stewart beer, the hops come in and give you a bit of an attack, and then they just smooth out, and they give you this nice lingering flavour. But the malt base in this is very smooth. You can feel it right from the start. And the whole thing just blends together really well. That's, as I say, what Stewart Brewing Company are really, really good at. They're very good with these IPAs and the nice fruity characters. Yeah, that's a cracker of a beer. I mean, the other beers I've had from Stewart Brewing have been really, really good. You know, the Capai I reviewed, I really enjoyed that because I love these kind of these New Zealand hops that they put in that. It was really nicely done. But this one, you know, this one's just even better. You know, it's really, there's not much more you can say about that. This is the best beer I've tried from Stewart Brewing, hands down. It's lovely. So yeah, in the middle of your palate, you're getting this nice malt base there. You're getting this big kind of phenolic yeasty estery character, this big kind of bready yeasty character that comes from the Belgian yeast strain they've used in this one. So you've got this light bready malt base. On top of that, you can feel the dough coming out, the thicker breadiness. There's a little bit of the kind of clovey spice coming out there as well. Yeah, it really is nice. You can feel some of the kind of slightly cereally characters. You can feel a little bit of that rye in there and some of the oats, but it blends really well together with that kind of Belgian yeast character that's in this beer. Really is lovely, actually. If you come across this beer, you have to try it for yourself. It just blends together so well. But the hoppy side of the beer is really interesting as well. In the back corners of the palate, I'm getting a little bit of earthiness, which makes me wonder if there's some mosaic in there. But as you come further forward, you can feel some of the pine resins in this beer too. But mainly, it's actually a kind of darker floral aromaticity that I'm getting from this beer. You can feel the pine resins just underpinning it, but there's a nice, quite spicy floral aromaticity to this beer as well. And as you go round the front curve of the palate, pardon me, that's where some of these nice lighter grassy esters are coming out of the beer too. But just behind the front curve there, that's where you get this little oily bubble, and that's where all the fruitiness in the beer's coming out. That's where the most complex part of this beer is, because there's a lot of things going on there. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in there. There's a bit of grapefruit underpinning it. I'm getting some citrusy oranges as well. I think there's a bit of passion fruit in there. And that's initially, but then as it kind of smooths out and the flavour starts to move into the aftertaste, you're getting a little bit of, there's a kind of, not quite apricot, there's a little bit of maybe a sort of mango-y flavour, maybe a little bit of peachiness to it as well. And you can pick up some of these almost lychee flavours. It really does make me think there's the citra in there. I'm getting a bit of these kind of citra fruity esters coming out of this beer as you move into the aftertaste. Yeah, definitely with that. I'm getting, as I say, there's a little bit of grapefruit kind of underpinning the fruit, but that's quite mild in comparison to some of the others. There's a bit of an orangey citrus character in this one. I am getting a wee bit of passion fruit. I do think there's some Simcoe in here, but I might be wrong on that. And then after that, you're starting to get these kind of lighter, juicier, fruity esters that you would expect from the citra hop. You know, there's a little bit of kind of lychees or something like that in there. A little bit of kind of mangoes, maybe peaches and apricots and stuff. Not so much apricot right enough, but you're getting these nice lighter fruity esters you would expect at the citra hop. But the main point of this is that this is an absolutely lovely beer. It's got a lot of fruity complexity to it, so if that's your thing, you certainly will enjoy it. I had a really lovely Belgian style IPA which was called Schoen. I think it was from somewhere in Poland. I think maybe Wrocław or something like that. It was from one of these cities and it was absolutely lovely, and this one it certainly follows in that regard. I love these kind of Belgian style IPA beers. They are really, really nicely done actually. You always get some really good beers within this category, but you have to try this beer for yourself. It really is top quality. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I'd say this one is mid-bodied, pushing the full-bodied category, and really it's the Belgian kind of yeasty stuff, the yeasty flavours in this one that make it feel that little bit heavier. It's got a nice oily mouthfeel to it. The malt base is very, very smooth actually. There's a little bit of sweetness to it, but mainly it's a very smooth malt base. You've got a good bit of hoppy, dry, bitter character to this beer, and some nice juicy fruits as well. The carbonation has a little bit of crisp character to it as well, and that helps bring out some of the more bitter aspects of the hop flavour in this. But overall, this beer is really, really damn good. So a big thank you to those of you who recommended that I have a look at this one. I certainly haven't been disappointed by it at all. It fully deserves its rating that it has on Rate Beer. You know, 95 and 95 overall for this beer is certainly deserved, and within the IPA style it really is a very, very good beer. This is definitely the best one I've tried from Stewart Brewing so far. But yeah, thanks for watching my beer reviews. I hope you've enjoyed this one. The First World Problems, a 6.2% Belgian style IPA from Stewart Brewing, brewed of course and designed by a guy called James Hardaker, who won a home brewing competition, and this is an absolute cracker of a beer. If you get the chance, give this one a go. This is probably one of the best craft beers that you're going to come across in Scotland actually, so make sure you try it if you do see it. It's quite easily available in the Aldi stores here in Scotland if you are looking for it, and I'm sure most good beer bottle shops in Edinburgh, Glasgow and Aberdeen and things will have this beer for you. So yeah, and thank you once again for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Make sure you check out my social media. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the brewery in the comments section below, and do let me know what other Stewart beers I should be having a look at. I really enjoy the IPAs and things from this brewery, and I definitely want to do more. But make sure you try the First World Problems from Stewart Brewing. This one is an absolute cracker of a beer. Like I say, this is one of the best IPAs and one of the best overall craft beers you're going to find here in Scotland. Until the next time, it's Slangy just now, and I will catch you soon. Make sure you try some of the Stewart beers from Edinburgh. Cheers.